Welcome to the Solution Point, where we talk about solutions for your life, your business, and the law. So today, I don't have a guest. Today I'm going to be talking to you about something that's really important. We're getting really close to the end of 2024, and this federal law that came up that I've been talking about quite a bit, the Corporate Transparency Act. This law took effect January 1, and it affects almost every business that has been created. So if you have a small business, you're going to be affected. Now, what is this Corporate Transparency Act all about? Well, it's a federal law that requires every business to file a report with the federal government, with FinCEN, which is Financial Crimes Enforcement Network, part of the Department of the Treasury, and which will be regulated through the IRS. So we know how that usually goes. So the first thing that you're going to need in the report is your company information. So for the company information, you'll need to have the full legal name of the company, any DBAs. You'll need the address of the business, the state or jurisdiction of formation, and you'll need the tax ID for that business. Then for each beneficial owner, you're going to need the name, you're going to need the address, you're going to need the date of birth, and an ID for each of those beneficial owners. So you're going to need that information for each person who's considered a beneficial owner. Now, what's a beneficial owner? It's a great question. Beneficial owner is anybody who either A, owns 25% or more equity in the business, or B, anyone who has control or influence over the business. So in my opinion, if you have one share and you can vote, you are a beneficial owner. So you want to make sure that that's being addressed. You want to make sure that those people are being disclosed. Now, for newer companies created after 2024, just during that year, we have 90 days from formation to file this report. For new companies starting in 2025, we'll only have 30 days. And we only have 30 days for any amendments, any changes. If you changed your address, if the company's address changed, you need to go ahead and update this. So now that's what you have to do. Now, what happens if you don't get it done? What happens if you decide, I'm not going to do the report? Well, a couple of bad things. One is the penalty is $500 a day for not filing. Now, side note, that is adjusted for inflation. So if you start paying the fee today, it's going to be about $573 a day. If the IRS determines that you did this with intention, or you didn't disclose everybody and intentionally kept things quiet or kept people off the list, and they find out, they could deem that you did it with criminal intent. Doesn't mean you were committing a crime, it just means that you intentionally didn't do it. If they decide it's criminal, then you could wind up paying a fine on top of everything else of $10,000, plus you could go to jail for up to 2 years. So the penalties are quite severe with this particular law. Everybody pretty much has to do it. There are 23 exceptions, most of which are banking, financial institutions, nonprofits. There is a large business exception, meaning that you have to gross $5 million a year and you have to have more than 20 employees in-house, under roof, not remote employees, in order to qualify. If your status changes, then you're going to need to file a report within 30 days. So that's who has to file. That's what are the penalties. Now, the next thing is, well, how do I get this taken care of? Well, you can go to the FinCEN website and fill out the report either online or through a PDF. Or you can hire a third party to take care of that for you. Now, one of the things that we've come up with at the J.M. Dickerson Law Firm, the solution to this is a subscription. So part of our subscription includes creating your BOIR, Beneficial Owner Information Report, for your company, and maintaining your entity minutes, which is something that every business should have and should have them up to date. Why? Because the first thing that you're going to get asked for in an audit or in a lawsuit is going to be, show me your corporate record book. And if you don't have it, then they might be able to make up whatever they want, or they might decline whatever you didn't say. For example, in the case of a lease, let's say you have a lease with one of your other companies for the office where you work out of. Well, guess what? If you have not had proper records and you don't have proper documentation, you could wind up being in a situation where that deduction for the rent expense is disallowed. I may say, well, you don't have a lease agreement, so we're going to take the position that you were just transferring money between companies. We're not going to allow you to take a deduction. We're going to say that it was a investment in the business, and now you don't have that deduction. But guess what? They didn't find out until 2 years later. So now you've got 2 years of penalties and interest, plus the tax that you still have to pay to make up for the difference with that deduction. So having minutes is extremely important, and it's a really good check to make sure that your documents are up to date. Make sure that all these agreements are really tight and well written, and that you've got the full triangulation of those agreements. Now, another thing that we provide for our clients as part of this subscription is you also get what we call our digital entity binder. Basically, it's your entity record book online on a box drive, where you'll have all your current documents that you can share with whoever you need to, your banker, your accountant, whoever it is that you need to. You can share the particular documents. Now, the way we keep up with this in real time is we create another folder for you. In this case, it would be, let's say, 2024. In this folder, the idea is, as you enter into different agreements, as you do different transactions, you just scan and upload your documents to this drive. That allows us to realize, hey, there's a folder that's updated. Okay, let's see what was put in there. We can then make sure we include all of that in your entity minutes. We'll prepare a report and we'll visit with you on a regular basis. Typically it'll be monthly or quarterly, and check in on you to see, hey, I noticed you haven't uploaded anything, any changes, or unpack some information that we may not be clear on, and update you to let you know, hey, look, this is what we've got in your record so far. Is there anything else that's happening that we need to know about? That allows us to, at the end of the year, be able to prepare some very robust minutes that document all the things that you've done throughout the year, because we've tracked it in real time. Now, that's a great protection. That's a great way to make sure you're protected and you're covered. The next thing that I would say that is part of this subscription that's important is you'll get part of a video series that'll be emailed to you on a regular basis every 2 or 3 weeks. And every 2 or 3 weeks, you'll get a video from me with some pertinent legal and business recommendations. So that'll be something that will help us to keep you informed of any changes, give you some suggestions on books or other techniques that you may want to use, including software that you may want to incorporate into your systems that maybe you didn't even know about. But we've been able to enlighten you with that. So those are the main things that we provide in our subscription. And our subscription is very reasonably priced on a per entity basis. So if you're interested, we'll put a link in the notes below to kind of give you an idea of how we can go ahead and help you out with our subscription. So I do want to also share that we're going to be talking about the Corporate Transparency Act at a live event. So I think those are great opportunities for us to really give you the chance to ask questions, to visit in person to see what's your situation. Are you a business that maybe fall into the exempt businesses, or do you really need to make sure that your entity is taken care of, or did you already pass a deadline and you need to do something quick? We're here to help you, and we'll do our best to make sure we get everything properly set up for you. Now, let me tell you a little bit about the dates for those events. So first, we're going to have 3 sessions. We'll have a morning, a noon, and an afternoon session. And we'll have it November 21st and on December 10th. And it'll be 8:30, 12:30, and 4:30. So those are times that everybody should have some accessibility to join. Now, this will be live in the Laredo area. So it'll be at the True by Hilton at the 7120 Rosin Lane, Laredo, Texas, 78041. We'll go ahead and put the location in the notes so that you have that available and you can click a link to get there. We'll have information on registering for the event in that link. So those are the things that I think are important to talk about to make sure you're covered to handle this new law. Now, if the stuff you've enjoyed here has been helpful, if you have ideas of things that you would like to hear us talk about or guests that you would like to be on the podcast, go ahead and send us a comment in the link and we'll go ahead and try to get that for you. And then until next time, remember to follow us and you'll find more solutions for your life, your business, and the law.